Days of Our Lives spoilers. March 3rd brings chaos, lies, and a devastating prank drama is brewing in Salem. And Days of Our Lives fans should prepare for a roller coaster of deception, guilt, and mischief on Monday, March 3rd. The upcoming episode promises shocking revelations, awkward encounters, and an ill-advised prank that could have lasting consequences. Johnny and Chanel's prank backfires. Johnny DiMera and Chanel Dupree have been treading on thin ice, and their next move might just send them crashing through. Sophia Choi and Tate Black will issue a firm warning before Johnny and Chanel sit down for a pivotal lunch with Amy Choi, whose influence could determine their future as adoptive parents. Sophia, in an effort to paint a favorable picture of the couple, has exaggerated certain aspects of their lives, specifically their religious devotion. She has led Amy to believe that Johnny and Chanel are deeply religious, a claim that neither of them can comfortably back up. Chanel will be particularly disturbed when she learns that Sophia has told Amy she runs a women's Bible study group. In reality, Chanel only steps into a church on special occasions like Christmas and Easter, making Sophia's fabricated tale a ticking time bomb. Although Chanel is uneasy about deceiving Amy, she is also desperate to keep the adoption process on track. This moral dilemma weighs heavily on her, but her love for Johnny and their shared dream of raising a child pushes her to go along with the charade, at least for now. Unfortunately, things take an even more disastrous turn when Johnny and Chanel attempt to prove their religious devotion with a misguided stunt at the DiMera mansion. They concoct an awkward and poorly executed plan to sell Sophia's story, but their efforts backfire spectacularly, leaving them looking foolish rather than faithful. The situation escalates when EJ DiMera, never one to miss an opportunity to stir the pot, intervenes in the lunch and makes everything exponentially worse. What begins as a light-hearted scheme quickly spirals into chaos, jeopardizing Johnny and Chanel's adoption prospects altogether. Jada Hunter struggles with guilt. Meanwhile, Jada Hunter finds herself entangled in an increasingly complicated web of deception. As she processes the shocking revelation of the Rafe Hernandez-Arnold Feniger doppelganger swap, her guilt begins to eat away at her. Jada recently slept with Sean Brady, believing him to be single and emotionally available. However, now that she understands the depth of the situation, she feels like an unintentional accomplice to the mess unfolding around her. Jada never suspected that Rafe had been replaced with a lookalike, and she certainly didn't intend to betray anyone. However, that doesn't stop the gnawing guilt that takes hold as she realizes she has been living a lie, one that could have devastating consequences. Rafe's future hangs in the balance. Gabby Hernandez, ever the determined detective, continues her quest for the truth, enlisting Kayla Johnson's help to perform a crucial DNA test. But the results of this test only add to the confusion and frustration. Gabby's sample doesn't match the hair she collected from Arnold Feniger's head. The shocking twist? The real Rafe has been drugged by none other than EJ DiMera, causing memory loss and reverting him to a previous state of mind. Now, with no recollection of his real identity, Rafe finds himself behind bars, falsely accused of being Arnold Feniger. This revelation presents an enormous challenge for everyone involved. Since the DNA test was conducted before the swap was discovered, the results are misleading, further complicating efforts to clear Rafe's name. With Rafe wrongly imprisoned, Gabby faces an uphill battle in proving her brother's true identity and bringing the real culprits to justice. Paulina and EJ's explosive showdown. Elsewhere in Salem, tensions reach a boiling point between Paulina Price and EJ DiMera. While concrete evidence of EJ's latest crimes remains elusive, Paulina knows without a doubt that he is behind the latest upheavals in town. Her instincts tell her that EJ has been pulling strings behind the scenes, orchestrating deception and chaos for his own benefit. Paulina, never one to back down from a fight, confronts EJ with the full force of her fury. She demands answers, but EJ, as cunning and slippery as ever, refuses to give her the satisfaction of an admission. The confrontation becomes a fierce battle of wills, with Paulina determined to expose EJ's misdeeds and EJ just as determined to protect his secrets. With Salem on the verge of unraveling, it's clear that the drama is far from over. Days of Our Lives fans should brace themselves for shocking twists, emotional confrontations, and the fallout from a prank gone terribly wrong. March 3rd is set to be a day of reckoning for several Salem residents, and the consequences of their choices will ripple throughout the town for weeks to come. Next, with Friday episode, February 28th episode of Days of Our Lives, tensions ran high as secrets were kept, lies were told, and the fate of an unborn child hung in the balance. At the heart of the drama were Tate and Sophia, two young people navigating a complicated situation, trying to appease a deeply traditional parent while ensuring the future of their child with Chanel and Johnny. A breakfast revelation: Tate encountered Sophia while she was having breakfast in the town square. She was in noticeably good spirits, telling him that her morning sickness had finally subsided and she felt much better since her mother had agreed to the adoption plan. Her relief was palpable, but it didn't last long. Tate, eager to share his own excitement, revealed that he had spoken to Chanel and Johnny about the adoption. His enthusiasm was evident, but Sophia quickly picked up on something he hadn't mentioned before. She narrowed her eyes, immediately sensing a familiar omission. "How long have you known about this?" Tate hesitated, but Sophia was already putting the pieces together. "Oh, I see. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, or, well, 2 weeks ago," she added dryly. "So, let me guess. You told Holly first." Guilt flickered across Tate's face as he confirmed her suspicions. Holly had known before she did. While it wasn't an outright betrayal, Sophia couldn't help but feel sidelined. She knew Holly would be relieved that the baby wouldn't complicate her relationship with Tate, but still, she wished he had spoken to her first. Tate quickly apologized, sensing that this wasn't just about his timing, it was about their fragile trust. Sophia, to her credit, didn't dwell on it. She understood Tate's excitement about the adoption, but she also knew there was one very big obstacle standing in their way: her mother. A strict set of beliefs. Sophia knew all too well how her mother, Amy, viewed the world. Tate might have thought that Chanel and Johnny's willingness to adopt was the perfect solution, but Amy might not see it that way. Good Christian values, according to Amy, meant belonging to the right church, specifically the Korean Baptist Church. As if on cue, Amy approached them while they were mid-conversation, immediately picking up on the tension in the air. "What's going on?" she asked, her sharp eyes darting between them. Sophia didn't hesitate. She told her mother about Chanel and Johnny, emphasizing that they both came from very prominent families in Salem. Amy's expression remained unreadable. Then she tilted her head slightly. "But not our church," she noted. Sophia hesitated for only a split second before lying. "They go to another church," she insisted. "They're super religious. Chanel even runs a Bible study group." Tate's eyes widened in mild panic, but he forced himself to nod along. Sophia shot him a quick look, silently pleading with him to just go with it. He did, albeit sheepishly. Amy seemed to accept this information, though her expression remained skeptical. "Well, if they're so religious, then I'll just have to meet them. For lunch. Today." Sophia stiffened. "Today?" she echoed. "Yes, today," Amy confirmed, leaving no room for argument. Tate jumped in, trying to smooth things over. "I'll make the arrangements," he promised. As Amy walked away, Sophia turned to Tate, her nerves on full display. "Bible study? This is going to be a fun lunch, right?" The adults weigh in while the younger generation scrambled to keep up their carefully constructed story. Their elders weren't exactly in the dark anymore. Marlena and Paulina sat together, reflecting on the events unfolding in their families. Marlena, ever the voice of reason, believed that adoption was a wonderful idea. But Paulina, ever protective of her daughter, wasn't so sure. She feared complications that could hurt everyone involved. "I just hope there's a happy ending for everyone," she admitted, a rare note of uncertainty in her voice. The meeting that could change everything. Later that day, Johnny and Chanel arrived at the plaza, excitement and nerves playing across their faces. This was the moment they had been waiting for, meeting Amy and hopefully cementing their future as parents. But Sophia and Tate, standing side by side, knew it wasn't going to be that simple. As they exchanged pleasantries, Chanel couldn't help but feel for Sophia. She understood all too well what it was like to have a mother who loved you so much that it felt suffocating. This wasn't just a casual lunch, it was a test, one that could make or break their adoption plan. Before Amy arrived, Sophia turned to Johnny and Chanel. "There's just one. Maybe two things you should probably know first." The tension was thick in the air as the realization settled in. The fate of this adoption, of their relationships, and of the baby's future all hinged on what happened next. Would the truth hold up under Amy's scrutiny? Or would this carefully woven lie unravel before their very eyes?